I think all of us were going back to not only us as an educator, but I think we were all going back to us as a student. Back.
Great.
So
And I was successful.
I'm sure everybody would agree to me here, because I think that is what actually would be the purpose, for us whenever we talk about education. I mean, if you're talking about learning, we have to understand that it has to start. It's learning, education, progress. All of this has one person in the center. It all starts from one person, and that is the child, the learner. So we will have to keep them at the center and then radiate. It cannot be any other way around. And we already have some questions coming in for you. So I'll just like to direct the audience again that any one of you wants to post a question, the chat box is open. And of course, you can also use the activity section for the same. So yes, so Gayani Hatrusingha is asking, what is the role of parents in the process of holistic education? How can we earn their support?
What a great question. What a great question. Because part of when I was planning this, 30 minutes is actually very short. My initial thinking was to go from the parent perspective, the admin perspective, and go through all the perspectives of the different stakeholders in a school. So I think that's really good. How can we get parents on board? And I think that what we have to do is educate the parents about the research and take time with parents to sit with them and talk them through the reasons of why we believe what we believe. Be passionate about what you believe and listen to them and their thoughts to understand what is their mental model of education. Ask them first. Ask them the questions I asked, that I asked you. Take time to bring their thinking along. And then hold boundaries. So we at the Giving Tree International School, we have families from every culture. I think we might have like over 40 different nationalities. And some nationalities, we just have one or two. We have Indian families, and many, I've sat with some Indian families about wanting their child to be a year ahead of everyone else. That we don't do that. We don't. The only reason we would do that in that case is if the child has completed the grade in their home country, and after 2 years or 1 year, whatever the assignment is in Cambodia, they're going back to the other school. But other than that, we hold our boundary. This is what we believe at this school. I hope that answers your question. If it didn't answer it, please feel free to ask a follow-up about something I've said.
Thank you so much, Kate. We'll move on to Selva Salvage's question. Could you talk a little bit more about your school and whether the children can actually choose 100% of what they do?
No, it would not be we would not be responsible educators if we gave 100% choice. Then the educators wouldn't be teaching. They wouldn't be thinking. An educator has to work hard to be responsive in the moment. So you have to be, as an educator, constantly thinking now I'm an IB educator and an IB workshop leader. So a bit of the language I will use now is IB language. But you have to think as a guide facilitator in the classroom, where can I give my students an opportunity to have voice, choice, and agency? So when is choice appropriate? Like, could they choose which book they read? What are you teaching? What is the purpose? What I find as a head of school, many teachers think, what am I going to have the kids do? So learning isn't just about doing, but we want to, instead of think of what do we want the kids to do, what do we want the kids to learn? And what is at the end, what are the knowledge, skills, understandings, concepts that we want our children to walk away with? And are those knowledge, skills, concepts relevant to the kids? And is it relevant to their life? Again, I hope I've answered the question, but if you have a follow-up, please ask.
Yes, I think you are absolutely right in saying that, we do have to give them the freedom, but we have to ensure that we are the responsible ones for it, because at the end, the kids will definitely learn 100%, but they will learn 100% of what we are able to provide them.
Yes.
So very well said, Kate, very well said. Deepa Dogra is asking, how do you plan a day schedule for this range of learning?
Well, we are an IB school, so I will tell you that has a very big influence on the way the school plans, because we plan with the IB planner. And we're actually using an app called Toddle, which is amazing. And it was created in India. If you are at an IB school and you are watching this, you should check out the Toddle app. It is amazing for planning. But I will say that we plan transdisciplinary units. So we're thinking not just about the academics, but what concepts. So in the IB, there are transdisciplinary themes. And those are sharing the planet, how the world works, who we are. Those are some of the themes. And in a theme, you would then choose a central idea. Something like, one isn't coming to mind, but it will. Let's see. Understanding and compassion lead to responsible choices. Something like that. So you would be teaching you would be creating learning experiences that lead to a deep understanding about that central idea. And you would then say what concepts are in this. So is it form, function, perspective, causation? And there are, in the IB, there are several key concepts. And then you would look at the related concepts. In the one I mentioned, understanding would be a related concept. Compassion would be another concept. The concept of choice. And then what you're thinking about the form, what are the lines of inquiry? What are the things that you're going to look into? And then kids, where they have a lot of choice, is where they ask the questions. What questions do they have? What did they want to know? And are their questions relevant? And I could probably talk on this a lot, so I'll stop there because I could probably go for another hour on this subject of planning, but I hope that opens the door for you. And you might want to read about concept-based learning. Lynn Erickson is one of the main authors. And if you feel you need to, please ask a follow-up question about planning.
Yes. So the headmistress of NPS International School is asking, how can we ensure that the children are involved in holistic learning beyond the school environment?
So my thought here is that when you are showing the kids and helping them be independent and have agency in their learning, and you help them understand that they are learners and that's part of their identity and that's who they are, and then and that you're a learner. I think modeling learning is huge, so that the kids see you learning in and out of school, and you talk about that learning in and out of school. And then you work on, for us at the Giving Tree International School, we are IB, so we use the learner profiles, which are being principled and knowledgeable, and you can look at the learner profiles. Then you're acknowledging who they are as a person, so they won't see learning just connected with school, but they will see it connected with their inner selves of who they are. A very practical thing is to ask them each day, what learnings did you have last night? what did you learn over the weekend? You know, what's your new thinking? Or has your thinking changed since you were in school on Friday? What's new? What are your new learnings?
Very correctly said. So, Rani Hatrusingha has a question. Can the holistic learning approach to education be applied to a context where student success is measured by examinations, and is there a way of addressing these limits?
I think there's a philosophy of where you can break the rules. So find the workarounds. If you have a context where things are measured, I'm going to answer this two ways. So make sure I get to the second way, which is research-based. But my first is coming from my own opinion, that you find the ways in which you want to bring these ideas in. So where could you use collaboration? If they have to study for an exam, could you use collaboration? Would it be better than the kids studying alone? Could you give them prep questions? Like where can you kind of bend the rules for that collaboration? Where could you give them a real life experience? So if you go back and look at the things I suggested, how would you include those in that context? What would that look like for you? So what would be your goal? What's your reality? Where are the opportunities? And then what will you do? That's my opinion. So you look at the things that mean what holistic education means and where can you fit them in. And the second one, because you asked, can you do it? The IB has research on the effectiveness of transdisciplinary learning, which is very similar to holistic learning. And I would go as far as to say the IB education, it's the International Baccalaureate. My school is the primary years program. The IB, International Baccalaureate, has done research that proves that transdisciplinary learning and concept-based learning lead to better exam results.
Wow, that is actually good, I think, right? I think it satisfies the question quite well, because if research is also supporting a certain direction, then I think it's good. Even if you want to assess the students on in purely core conventional academic fronts, I think the whole idea that if something is helping to for the students to push themselves on those fronts as well, it serves the purpose for us as well as the students. That is great. So actually, you have sparked quite a lot of response in the comment section. So we have Dr. Yogita Sarwal, who's also understanding. She's saying that yes, we have to become the medium for the holistic learning, and we should be the role models. And I think that's quite wonderful too.
Yes.
We do have time for one last question. So in case anybody would like to present it now, we can take it. I think we'll be getting the questions anytime soon. So,
do you have a question, Amrita?
Yes, I actually have lost. But then I think if I start talking, then I can hijack the whole session. So,
okay.
Yes, so we have Dr. Kathryn question asking, rationalistic approach towards education is what they have understood from your aspects, and asking for your contact details. It will be shared with you right away by the team of future school leaders. They have shared the email ID. You can, as Kathryn has suggested, that she would love to connect, and I think joint efforts in education is what we are looking forward to. Education sort of needs redefining. It has become a little bit too concrete and a little bit too, little bit too much of an expert domain, and sometimes we have to understand that it is the child who is often the expert of how they learn and what they learn, and it's not all about us. It's
well said. The child is the expert of their learning, and we can help. The point of Sir Ken Robinson's books is that we often do things in schools that makes children think that they don't have the answers or they can't get the answers. So what can we do to instill a sense of self-efficacy in our students? That they know, and they know they can find out if they don't know.
Absolutely. I think a lot of time we have told the children, this is not what you're supposed to do. This is not what you're supposed to do. This is not what you're supposed to do. Often the child then, maybe there's something that they can explore and do quite well, but the whole idea is that they are so groomed to hearing no. They are so groomed to be extra cautious and extra apprehensive of everything that sometimes I think we just block the child's potential, which is very unfair to not only the child, to us as well, because they are the future. They are the ones who are going to carry the generation ahead, bring about a lot of changes, bring about a lot of development. Imagine if we would have been told no on a lot of fronts. I don't think we would be having this session today and talking on such capacity, right? So it's,
right.
That is something that we have to be very much aware for.